Guys, what are we looking at? It's the Kaiser Drop Bear. Not much else to say. Let's turn it around. Take a look at it from above. Guys, like I said in the intro, we are looking at this Kaiser Drop Bear, and I have to say, I'm really happy with the decision that I made to get this when Jared offered me all those points. So this thing is a crossbar lock, axis lock style knife, a lot like the BENCHMADE 940, but what it's got going for it is, I love the 940, but what the 940 is sometimes it's too thin, and this is a really good platform for this. I honestly think that this would be the direction that BENCHMADE would need to go if they were going to revisit the 940. So let's go ahead. We'll put a spec sheet up right here, and we'll do some quick size comparisons. So your first knife's going to be my Grimsmo Norseman, just because you guys haven't got to see it in a while, and it happened to be in my pocket, and I didn't have to go anywhere. Your next knife's going to be Chris Reeves Sabenza, a really popular knife. Most people are going to know that size for comparison. And then your final knife is going to be, of course, since I mentioned it earlier, the iconic Osborne design BENCHMADE 940. Now, I used this as a comparison because these have a lot in common, and we're going to talk about that. But let's talk about this knife first and get this out of the way, and then we'll talk about some of the things they have in common. Before we actually jump into it, the Coffee Brand Coffee, channel sponsor. They're sponsoring all of my videos these days. Go check them out. Coffee, tea, cocoa, roasted, on demand, delivered to your door. I'm not going to do like a big actual ad. We're just going to talk about that. But there's a link below where you can use the coupon code CrazySharp. So this is the Kaiser Drop Bear, done in aluminum with steel liners, running on bearings, and uses an axis style crossbar lock. Now, I have carried this, as you can see, a lot. Now, I've used it a lot, and I have had a very good experience with this knife. I was very pleased at how it cut, how it carried, the operation and mechanism on it. I've had zero issues with lockup or blade play. And the handles have held up. Now, I did clean this up a lot. It looked way worse right before filming. But this got carried a lot, and it got a lot of use. Thumb studs on this are beautiful. I'm going to try and get some close-up shots on some of these things that we're talking about. Thumb studs on it are just about perfect. They're in the right position. They're the right height. They're not overly sharp. They don't get in the way of any cutting if that's something you're concerned about. And they give you really good purchase on the action. The blade is ground just into that Goldilocks zone. It's not too thin where you're worried about the edge holding up, and it's not too thick where you have to worry about things binding up or not cutting. It's done in a really nice like spear point or spade blade version. And it is very light because there's a lot of weight reduction. Like I said, the aluminum on it is great. Aluminum has the advantage that you can do the hard coat anodizing on it, which holds up very well. In and out of pocket, I've had no issues. There are some little areas where that's mostly thumbnail, fingernail material from where I reach into the pocket and I grab it. And so you'll get little streaks on it, but it does clean up really well. The hard coat, hard aluminum oxide coating that they do on all knives in aluminum holds up incredibly well. The feel in hand is just great. You can see that it is a little beefy in this palm swell, and then you've got this area here. You've got great purchase. It is completely ambidextrous because it is an axis style crossbar lock, and the action on it is just about perfect. Now, the cool thing that they've done with this is they provide you with extra hardware. You can see, I'm going to put up a quick clip of it. You can see that you have extra springs, which happen to be a little stiffer. I found that the ones that came in it were about perfect. I did swap them out once, and I found that I didn't really need that additional tension. But the fact is, over time, these might get weaker. I might need to throw those in, and those might get weaker and just keep me in the range that I want. Now, let's talk about a couple quick differences between it and the 940, which are things that I would like to see BENCHMADE start to incorporate into the 940. The BENCHMADE axis lock, a lot of times you get blade play. Because it's running on bearings, or not running on bearings, I'm sorry, running on washers, which means that you got a tighter fit. Running it on bearings gives you a little bit of extra support. You can crank that down a little bit, but still have a free action. The thinness of this knife, like we said in the things that I love about the 940 and things I don't like, the thinness of the knife can be problematic. But the big things that I think they really need to look at is the mechanism inside and going with bearings perhaps, because the knives that I've had that have an axis style lock, crossbar lock, that run on bearings very rarely have that play, that side to side play that you see in some other knives. Now, I do have a couple small critiques about this knife. So we'll go ahead and we'll talk about those right now. Okay, so there's only a couple small little things about this knife that I found. The biggest one is this is just an aesthetic thing. I kind of wish that you had more of a matte finish on this. They did that with the original, the Kaiser original. I just kind of wish that the blade had a little bit more finish. Now, I do realize that cutting like I did, I already shined up some areas on there. I would have definitely shined that more. And then the only other small critique I have is the pocket clip. Now, it's not necessarily a hot spot, but I definitely did do some heavy duty cutting, cutting wood and things like that, because it was so comfortable. And I was trying to see, how did the pocket clip feel? And while it's not a super bad hot spot, when you really bear down on it, you can definitely feel it in your hand. And I did a lot of wood cutting, and you definitely could feel that right in that area. I'll try and get a picture of the dowel rod that I used for doing some heavy cutting on it and show you. But that was the only time, like cutting cardboard and just day-to-day cutting, not an issue, but it definitely did stick in your hand a little bit if you're doing some really heavy bearing down cutting, like cutting, I was trying to like cut a steak, and I cut, not steak, like a tent steak and things like that. But other than that, the action on it is really good. And it is a very, very nice light carry. I'm not 100% sure why they went with this isn't a downside. I just don't understand necessarily why they went with full steel liners when they could have just basically took a small area and put a steel platform for the bearings and everything, and then they didn't have to do all this weight reduction. I think that might have been a little bit cost saving, but it definitely gives it an interesting look. So I don't know. I mean, there's just a couple little things that I just 100% don't know about the knife, but it definitely has got a perplexed look on its face. But like I said, I'm not a fan of lanyard holes, but I'm not going to call that out. You all know that already. So yeah, all in all, so this has been a really good carry. I'm on the fence on what I'm going to do with this knife. It may stick around for a while for some more videos, but then again, it might become part of a giveaway. I am going to start doing some subscriber only videos from time to time because I am starting to get some more knives in. But yeah, let's turn this around, do some final thoughts. I'll send you out about today, and I might talk about some other channel sponsors. Guys, like I said, I really do like this knife a lot. I'm not trying to compare it to the BENCHMADE 940 and say it's better. I'm just saying, like, I think that this is a direction that the 940 could go. This is something I really like. They decide to fly over every time I do this. Sorry about that. Like I said, I'm not trying to make a direct comparison to the 940 or say that this is better than the 940. I'm just saying that this has some features on it that I'd like to see incorporated into maybe different versions of the 940. But this thing is great. It has held up well. I did not say, but this held up really well as far as edge retention. I only had to at the very end, right before this video, touch it on a ceramic rod just to bring it up just a little bit. But performed really, really well. So guys, that's pretty much it on this one. I do want to mention something. My merchandise store no longer exists. So you're not going to see links to it down below. The company's moved a different direction, are not doing print on demand. So we're not going to have my merchandise there. I might find a different way to do it. Go check out Coffee Brand Coffee, fresh coffee on demand, roasted to order, sent to you directly. Coffee, beans or grounds, tea, and cocoa. If you want to support the channel, thumbs up is the best way to do it. Like a video. Don't like the video, tell me why. Make sure that you've got the bell icon selected and set to all, and make sure you've got notifications turned on your device. If you want to support the channel financially other ways than the sponsor I mentioned, you can go down. All of my affiliate links down below directly support the channel. Doesn't cost you anything at checkout, supports the channel. And I have a membership that is tier-based. All 3 tiers get access to my gilded server. Baseline and premium tier members are automatically entered into giveaways, and the premium guys automatically have access to a sharpening tutorial series that's here on YouTube behind that paywall. Guys, that's it on this one. I love you all. Keep it clean in the comment section. If it's your birthday, happy birthday, and I will see you in the next video.